Hi, friends. Thank you for joining us on Food for Thought. My name is Sunil Chandy. I'm the rector and priest here at Christ Episcopal Church, and we thank you for joining us on this program again. And today we have another wonderful live program, and this is with our own parish administrator, newly minted parish administrator, Kristy Allardyce. And so thank you, Kristy, for being with us. Thank you for taking the job. You're following another wonderfully beloved person in our parish, Jackie Smith, who wanted to have more time with her baby at home, and so I was worried about who would take this position, and you came along. God said yes, and I said amen. So let me ask you, in terms of this position, what do you think some of the challenges of this position would be?
Well, I think it's really important to be organized.
Yeah.
And to have systems for things. I think it's really important to be able to work with you and to manage you.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
And to be able to work with all the different committee heads and parishioners that come through the office, and to handle phone calls and sometimes difficult phone calls. We do a lot of sort of pastoral care on the phone with people, or as they come in to set up funerals or talk about the situation. So you just have a lot of different hats on all the time.
Yeah,
but
definitely. I think like one of the wonderful things about you is that you're so engaging. People love you. You know, they come into the office and they want to talk to you, which is an important part of being a parish administrator, someone that people can approach. And oftentimes you're the first person as a parish administrator that people come to with a pastoral crisis. And then you kind of, as a parish administrator or a person in the office, you along with Dorothy kind of can move people to the right direction.
Right.
And you have that ability that people can come to you, which is really wonderful. And then, of course, you have a very strategic, organized mind.
Well, I was a first grade teacher for a long time, and I think that when you are a teacher and you have 24 kids in your class, I remember when I was in school, one of the things that they said is teaching is a constant stream of decision making made before, during, and after the interaction with the students. That I remember forever because we had to memorize. And so I sort of took that into when I was a mom, because that's what you're doing. There are constantly different things happening, and you have to be able to, see them all and move quickly. And I think that's the same with being a parish administrator. You have to be able to flip from one thing to another. And if someone calls and you're in the middle of something, you need to make them feel like you're not in the middle of anything. And everyone who comes in feels that their question, concern, issue is the most important. So you need to make them believe that you also think it's the most important.
And it could be. And it could be the most important thing for not only them, but also for the church and our ministry.
Right.
But that opens an insight for me, because actually you're treating me like a first grader.
No, but I think that.
No, but that's good though.
I think that everybody, you want to feel recognized.
Yes.
And you want to feel heard and valued. And we have a congregation of really wonderful people, and many of them do so much for the church.
Yeah.
And it's all volunteer for the most part. And some of those volunteer jobs are very time consuming. And I think it's important to recognize that and to, let them know. And I was always brought up by my mom and my dad that, you always say thank you, and you always, I told you, write a thank you note. And so I've been trying to send thank you notes to our supply clergy and to touch base with people and, follow up if, for example, someone had called me to put someone on the prayer list. we always follow up after a certain amount of time to see whether they still need to be on the prayer list. But I like to just give them a call and say, how are you doing or whatever, and or have Dorothy give a call, or even one of our office volunteers just have a call just to touch base. And I think when you're working in an organization that is primarily run by volunteers, it's important to really
nurture them.
Yeah,
and help them to know that what they do is valuable and important.
And I think you do that really well, which is one of the reasons our congregation has grown so much, because the church just feels like a really warm, friendly family. I mean, it really does.
Yeah, it is, and that's what I love about Christ Church. I think, even I hope that even comes across online when we reach out to the people who are watching programs. But the thing about Christ Church is that it always felt like a welcoming place, and it was just and you can find Jesus here. The teachings of Jesus in this place.
Yeah, and one of the things that I've loved about working in my different roles here is that I have become more invested in not only in the church but in my own connection with God and religion. And we've talked before about how to manage that work
spiritual life balance.
And that can be tricky, I think. And for example, a couple weeks ago, or maybe it was this past week, Paul and I went to church Saturday night because we just felt like, or I felt like, I just need Sunday to be a me day or a rest day, and because I'm here every day.
Yeah.
But I want to be at church. And it was interesting because on Sunday mornings, typically, that's when I usually go. And so everybody, will grab me or say something or ask something. And then I usually make an announcement. But Friday or Saturday night, I never go. Nobody knows me.
Yeah.
I mean, they know me, but they weren't expecting me and didn't grab me to ask a question. And so it was nice to just kind of be in church and not be worried about, are the nursery workers there, or, all those kinds of things.
And that's important. I mean, part of it is that you do need to, especially when you're working in the church, you love this place, right?
Yeah.
And you put your all into it. But the danger is that you can get burnt out because there's so many demands, and they're all very important.
Yeah.
And so you do need to have a way to separate yourself. And I'm glad you went on Saturday night.
Yeah,
I was happy to see you on Saturday night, and I didn't ask any questions of you, which is really good. But I love seeing both you and Paul there.
Yeah.
And it was just a welcome treat for me.
Well, since taking on this role, I've stepped back from a couple of the other things that I did. I'm no longer the director of Christian education. I'm no longer the chair of the Welcome Committee, and although I'm still on the Welcome Committee, but what's been interesting is that I know so many people in the church, and even just in a short time being here, I know so many more people or differently. I know people differently. And so I'm able to kind of steer people into different directions. And so like Tammy Dunlap, who is taking over for Welcome, she's asked me, she has to sort of relook at and see where she's committed and not become overcommitted. And so we were talking, well, who will be some good people for this? And I think that's one of the important things for growing our church is to get a broader group of people involved. And so, I might know some people that she didn't know. So we kind of came up with a list of people, and I said, these might be good people to contact. And I don't think I would have that perspective if I wasn't in this position.
Yeah.
Because now I'm looking at the congregation as a whole and different people. So hopefully I'll be able to do more of that with other committees, because and having worked in welcoming and getting to know them and making phone calls to people who are going to meet with you or whatever, I'm seeing where they might enjoy getting involved.
Yeah.
Which I think is important when you're trying to build,
A community. Yeah.
community.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, like you said, the same people take it on and do things because they want to, but you can't do everything yourself.
Yeah. And I love this. And actually, you're saying something that's an interesting dynamic that happens in church growth, right? Which is that when you have a successful church, you kind of want, or a successful organization and whatever, you kind of say, okay, it's successful. Let's make sure that the people who made it a success are always there making it a success. But in order for the overall, ministry and organization to really grow, you have to mentor.
Yeah.
You have to nurture other people to take over
Right.
the position, take over some of the things that you need to do in order to nurture the Spirit of Christ and the Spirit of energy and empower them to do the work in maybe in a different way.
Yeah, and it sometimes seems a lot easier to just do it yourself.
Yeah.
And we have several people who are on core committees who are very good at reaching out. And so, like our property committee has reached out, and we have some new people who are very involved, which is great. You just can't have the same people do everything. It's not fair to those people, and it's not fair to the people who want to get involved.
And the new people, and so like the new people learn something. They come here because they want to learn about Christ. They want to learn about church and community, and a community that's thriving. And so that's a good thing if they have contact with people in that community. But then the other thing is also the new people bring their own insights where God is working in their life, and then all of a sudden the conversations and the connections, which is important, especially now, because we've been so unconnected with each other. COVID has separated us, and so this has allowed us to kind of this gives us a new way for people to exchange information, exchange love and joy, hopes and dreams, and live life well.
Yeah, and I think Kristys Church has done a wonderful job of bringing people back in. I think people are really excited about it. One of the things that I'm trying to do in the office is to streamline things and organize things and make it so that it runs really efficiently, but so that the volunteers who come in also can walk in and know what they can do to help without necessarily, someone telling them or saying, oh, could you do this? Like they've become really empowered to know what kinds of things in the office they're good at, which has been really nice because it's important to have volunteers.
Yeah, no, and I see that. And they seem very happy.
Yeah.
And we have Jean in the office, and
She's great.
And she's really great. And then we have all of these volunteers
Yeah,
that come in. Susan Dowd, Noah, and Molly comes in often, and there's a host of them. And of course, if you
Sherry,
yeah. And so if you too want to join us and volunteer sometimes at the office, come in and talk to Kristy.
Yeah, or if you want to just get involved in the church and you're not sure where to get involved or who to contact, stop in or give a call, have a coffee.
Have a coffee. Yes, I love that. And the other thing is also, and as you indicated, Kristy, the welcoming committee is now going to be chaired by Tammy Dunlop. Well, I mean, it's a vibrant committee. It's a beautiful committee.
Yeah, there are a lot of great people on it.
A lot of great people on there, and Tammy is one person who will just really help nurture that joy in that community, and also the creative ideas. She already came up with some really creative ideas. Then you have to let go. I mean, you couldn't keep all three positions. You have to let go of the Sunday school coordinator. We just interviewed two people for the position of Sunday school coordinator, and we're coming up with this new innovative way of looking at Sunday school, especially as we think about
now children's ministry.
Children's ministry, right? And of course you've been heavily in those conversations, but it's a creative way of adapting to the particular issues that we've had here at Christ Church. And so I won't give their names just yet, but we're working through the final details, and hopefully we will be introducing them to the congregation.
Yeah,
And
I think it's really exciting, and that that ministry is one that definitely need people to get involved with.
yes,
And there are a lot of people within the church who have a lot of knowledge about different areas of the church, and we're going to be tapping into that, especially with the older kids.
yeah. And it's a different model. I'm so excited. It's a different model of how to do Sunday school, and I think it's a really fun way of looking at it. And so, so watch out for that. Over the next couple of weeks, we'll be we'll be introducing the new coordinators to you, and then also they'll be unpacking what's going to happen in the fall season. And so we hope that
will have. We offer nursery always on Sunday mornings. We will have children's chapel during what was children's chapel. Will be our morning Sunday school classes, and those will be for preschool through grades 4. And then then we have a lot of our 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th graders who and older who are acolyting, so they're in church. And if they're not acolyting, we hope that they'll just come to church. And then we'll be having the older kids in their own class later at a
Sunday evening session, which is kind of that's the new model that we're putting out, and it seems like it's very exciting. At one time we used to have at Christ Church Monday school, which was where kids who were in the choir.
Pretty much all the kids were in the choir.
Because all the kids were in the choir. They couldn't come to Sunday school in the morning because they were singing in the choir. And so what the rector did at the time was Jim Madden and his associates. They used to have a school on Monday night, and it was a real wonderful experience. For Christ Church, that they adapted to it at that time. Now
that's what we've had to do. We've had to over the last probably 3 years, we've seen a shift in the way families are committed to so many different things, and I think especially with COVID, that sort of changed everyone's operation, the way that they work Sunday mornings, and so we needed to just come up with a change to go with the times. I mean, it's sort of like in schooling, you can't do the same thing all the time. If it's not working, you have to look at a way to change it. So I'm excited for these two people to.
Yeah, I am. So there's a lot of good things that are happening, and I'm really excited. This fall season seems like it's going to be really good. We're going to kick it off again with homecoming,
September 11th,
and then in between, of course, we have all the Sunday church services that we will have normal, and then Saturday evening at 5:00, Sunday at 8:00, and 10:00, and
and then we have some
online services also.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. It's a busy church. It's a great church. And I saw one of our parishioners posted on Facebook the other day. I don't know if you saw it. That just to put it out there, that if you're looking for a church, Christ Church is an awesome place. There are wonderful people there. There's great spirituality, and you don't usually see people just kind of putting it out there. Sometimes people will share something from the church, but this was just hey, I just wanted to put this out there and share it. Some of my best friends are people in the church, and which I love, because growing up, my parents' best friends were in our church, and they're still friends today. So I think it's.
It's interesting. Last week I just came back. This was my last weekend. I had 4 weekends pretty much that I was away because I had to do. Yeah, because I had to do a general convention things, and then I was also going back to school for a little bit for some coursework, and then finally was taking some vacation time, and so it's 4 weekends. It was my fourth weekend, and I was coming back, and it just felt so good to be back. It was actually very emotional too.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, it was really nice to see you.
Yeah, it's really. I just felt like I missed this place, and
But weren't you glad to see that it didn't fall down?
No, you know what? That's the great thing about Christ. We're resilient.
Yeah.
We're adaptive, and that's what Christ is calling us to be.
I mean, we've had a lot of challenges over the last couple of months, and everyone has just really stepped up and
I know.
everything going.
Yeah.
And the church looks spectacular outside, looks spectacular inside.
And we have air conditioning.
And it's cool.
It's cool. I'm going to do that later. Okay. I have a little prop. We're gonna get Ben to help it for later. Right? But it's a cool church, that's for sure. Now, this is a new experience for us. We're doing it at in our office, this Food for Thought. But notice the plant here. We just added the plant, and so I said, okay,
added the plant.
It's
been amazingly, it's been in Father Sunil's office and is still thriving.
It's alive.
And again, that's thanks to volunteers.
So one of the things that I was thinking was, what do we name the plant? I kind of like to name the thing, and so I was thinking at first Solomon, but I don't know why I was thinking Solomon.
And I said Goliath.
Goliath. So you decide. Tell us what you think. What do you want to name the plant? And
show the plant some love.
Show the plant some love. Anyway, Kristy, thank you for being with us. And thank you for choosing to be our parish administrator.
I love it.
And we love you too. So, folks, as is our time is ending, let us end with this prayer. It's a prayer that was written by Bishop Thomas Brown of Maine. The Lord be with you. Let us pray. Jesus Christ, you traveled through towns and villages, curing every disease and illness. At your command, the sick were made well. Come to our aid now in the midst of the global spread of the coronavirus. Heal those who are sick with the virus. May they regain their strength and health through quality medical care. Heal us from our fear, which prevents nations from working together and neighbors from helping one another. Be present with those in authority who are making hard decisions. Support the medical professionals, emergency responders, counselors, and our caregivers. We ask this all in your name, Jesus. Amen. Join with me in the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Friends, go in peace to the love and serve God. Spread the light of Christ to the world around you, the light of joy and hope, because the world needs it right now.
Thanks for watching. Did you know that you can join Christ Church from anywhere in the world? If you're feeling connected to what we're doing, email us today at communicate@christchurchwesterly.org.